want to welcome you to another exciting episode of How to Play the Game of College podcast. I am so excited to bring this podcast to parents and students and really hear from real life folks that really work in a college setting to really give you tips, to give you strategies, best practices in order to help you as a student and also as a parent to really succeed when you get to that college doorstep. And so today, without further ado, I want to introduce my guest, Dr. Walker. Dr. Walker, we're super excited to have you on here today. And just a little bit about Dr. Walker as we start the podcast. Dr. Walker has over 15 years of professional experience in higher education. He's been everything from a admissions counselor. He used to work as a branch director in North Mississippi, Get to College Center. He's been a district dean of student services at Northwest Mississippi Community College. And now he serves as the director of diversity programs and student development in the College of Forest Resources at Mississippi State University. And so without further ado, I want to welcome you to the podcast today, Dr. Walker. And I want you to tell the audience, especially our students who sometimes only see us, right, as Dr. Boyd or Dr. Walker, how did you get to this point? Welcome.
Man, thank you. Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here, man. Kudos to you for all of your success in general, but definitely for creating this platform for us to share insights about our journeys and higher education broadly. But a little bit about me, man. I am from a very small town. I'm a blue-collar, rural town, small town guy from Prentice, Mississippi. I started my higher education journey here at Mississippi State in 2003 when I left Prentice. Got my bachelor's here in 2008 in education and started my professional career right after that as an admissions counselor. And I did that for about 5 years, and then I transitioned to that Get to College Center, which is a part of the Woodward Hines Education Foundation based out of Jackson, Mississippi. And with that organization, we focused primarily on college access, which included FAFSA completion, college applications, ACT prep, college planning. We would do outreach in our communities and in certain counties around the South Haven region. Then we would also allow people to come into our office and meet with us one-on-one about whatever college needs they had. So I did that for 8 years and changed a few positions, fortunate enough to move up a few positions. And then finished my doctorate in 2021 and ended up leaving, Get to College, and went on to Northwest, where I was at Dean of Student Services. And so my personal and professional career has been centered around higher education. I got degrees, but I've been working in this space I'm in the 16th year now. So that perspective of recruiting students and trying to expose them to what the possibilities are at my institution, but broadly any institution,
Right.
Then helping them navigate what it takes to do the applications, find the applications. Number one, navigate the website. Find applications, do the FAFSA and the Mississippi applications. And so for me, I came from humble beginnings. I made a lot of mistakes on my academic journey, and a lot of those mistakes came from just lack of information, lack of resources, and that's no offense to my parents or our school. Just some communities just don't have the resources, and so students don't have access to those resources. And a lot of times you don't realize that until you in school. You're like, oh, I wish I knew this 5 years ago.
Right. Exactly.
So I've been fortunate to stumble and matriculate through and just kind of find my place here where I can kind of give back and hopefully help students not make some of the mistakes I made on my journey.
That's great. And it's so good to hear, Dr. Walker. I know we both went through that doctoral journey together. And I like how you said, sometimes you stumble, and I'm the same way. I tell folks, I'm a first generation college student. And so it's crazy to just see how now I'm working in a college, college life and college support access to really support students. And so again, I like how you said that, you've been in the higher education setting for now, 16 years, which is a long time, right? And I'm sure you've seen a lot of changes and a lot of new trends in working in higher education. I guess when we talk to our students, right, what are some of the common challenges looking over the 16 years of your career that you see students experience when they get to a college campus? And if you can maybe provide us with some solutions on how they can overcome some of those challenges.
When I think about challenges, I could list a laundry list, but I think about 4 categories.
Okay.
I think the first category would be personal challenges. And those personal challenges could be related to being homesick. Many students like myself grew up in small towns that are very closely knit. And to go 3 hours away for college, to leave your parents for the first time and be away from them for a very long time, 4 or 5 years, that homesickness can be a challenge. And for some students, it causes them to quit, to flee back home, because that's what they're comfortable with and that's all they know.
Right.
Also, with the personal category, sometimes students have that first crisis, that first flat tire, or their first flu, or first time they run out of money.
Right.
They've never had to navigate that situation without, running across the street or running across town so daddy or mom can save the day, So that first crisis. Sometimes it's physical health, mental health. And so those personal, I think the changes that happen when they get to college and they're dealing with, especially that first year, can be really hard for students. And for a lot of them, and you and I have both seen this,
Right.
They're like, this is too much. College isn't worth it because the way I feel right now in this moment is enough to make me, withdraw. So I think, personal challenges. Second, I would say is financial.
Okay.
As we know, college is expensive, period.
Right.
Whether you go to a, junior college, a 4-year college, HBCU, private, public, whatever the case, there's a large sticker price.
Right.
I've seen where students just misunderstand the true cost of college. No offense to recruiters, but their job is to students, and they're going to sell them.
Yeah.
They're going to sell them, and they're going to make everything that they say about the institution sound beautiful and sound pretty and feel good and sound good. But sometimes students don't truly understand, well, I may be getting this really nice package.
Right.
They told me that I'm getting, but does it cover everything?
Right.
It sounds good to get a $40,000 scholarship, but if the cost of attendance is 60, you got a gap of 20. So I think sometimes people get caught up in, 40,000 sounds great.
Right.
They're at church and they're announcing it at the youth day program. But then when they get there and it's October of the semester and they get that bill, like, I thought I had a lot of money, and they do have a lot of money.
Right.
Don't have exactly enough to finish that bill. So I think just understanding the true cost, the true understanding of what they actually have compared to what the costs are. I would definitely say financial.
Okay.
Then the third category would be academic. Having their first academic challenge. A lot of students are coming from high schools where they may be the big fish.
Right.
They've made good grades. They've been the valedictorian or salutatorian from their high school, and they get their first D or their first F.
Exactly.
And for some of them, that could be a dagger.
Right.
Cause them to feel like they don't belong there, or feel like they're not academically strong enough to stay. And so, they run into that, and it could be a deal breaker for some.
Right.
And then the last one, I think, happens further down the line, but I think some of them struggle with the transition from college to real life. And I know some people really enjoy college and they don't want to let it go. They kind of climax here and they become top dog here. They're very popular here. When they have to go out into the real world and really apply the lessons that they've learned and apply some of those skills that they've learned in college, some of them struggle with this. Like, well, how do I find a job? What do I do now that I'm not the most popular person in the body?
Right.
Those transitions can be challenging. In terms of solutions, when it comes to those personal issues, most colleges have some type of resources to support students who may be homesick or who may be dealing with mental health or physical health issues. There's some type of health center. There's some type of counseling service or center. There are typically mentorship opportunities. There's always these first-year experience programs that a lot of colleges offer. They initiate some of these conversations early on because they understand that these are some trends for first-year students. So I think just tapping into some of those resources and taking advantage of some of those resources for all of these issues, whether it's financial, personal, academic, and even the transition, all colleges to some extent.
Right.
And everyone's different, and everyone, how good they are could vary.
Right.
then there's typically some type of resource. And so what I always try to challenge students to do is, number one, pay attention to those emails, pay attention to those, welcome week
Right.
programs where these resources are saying, hey, we're here, come get our t-shirt, come to our workshop. Just being open to learning about those resources.
So true. So true. Dr. Walker, you laid out some great challenges. And I think, again, the purpose of this podcast and, of course, the book, How to Play the Game of College, it's basically for high school students to get a jump start, right? And look at and identify some of those challenges, come up with the solutions, right? Because I feel like we all have challenges, right? Nobody goes into college. You can have a 4.0 and a 32 on the ACT. And believe me, I have had endured with those students. I'm like, to the world, like, oh, they're prepared. They got these high test scores, high GPA, but they're going to run into some type of challenge. So really starting early. And I like how you said, just, sometimes just ask for help, because most institutions provide some type of service to offer a solution to every challenge that you manage. But if you just go and, nobody knows that you're enduring these challenges and you just go back home, the college or the folks that work at the college really never had a chance to really address those issues. And so I really like how you talk about that. And then also on the flip side, a lot of times we don't think about the transition from college to real life, right? We always talk about, of course, high school to college, but when we get there, you got to leave it, right? It's meant to be 4 years or for most colleges. And so you got to leave it, which brings us to our next question, mentorship, right? And so I know personally, I have several mentors that I could call and ask for advice. Can you maybe talk about a mentor that maybe help you to navigate the college scene or just in your personal life altogether?
Yeah, man. I think mentorship it's a priceless concept. Mentorship for me has been a game changer for my whole academic career, for my professional career, for me to even be in the place that I am today. Mentorship has played a big role. And I think about two people that I can name off top, and they're always the first two people on any reference list that I see. And one of those people is Dr. Maria White. When I was a student here, she was the director of the Holmes Cultural Diversity Center. And so with the Diversity Center, at that time, there were a group of students called peer ambassadors, peer counselors. And so those individuals were assigned 25 freshman students who were from underrepresented populations. So my peer counselor would reach out. They had to contact us once a week. Email. They would either email us. Email in 2003 was a little different than it is now. But anyway, they would also come to our dorm door and knock on the door, slip a note under the door and just check on us. Like, how are you doing? How are your classes? But although that organization was very monumental, Dr. White herself, she was like the mom of campus. And I'm sure you've seen that in a lot of the academic spaces that you've been in. For a lot of us who are African-American, underrepresented populations, to have that mother figure on campus, whenever there was a problem, no matter what it was, whether it was I was hungry or I was just having a bad day or having a relationship issue, like I've talked to her about some of the most private things, in my life. A lot of times I didn't even have to come to her. She would see me and what's wrong with you, boy? That motherly tone.
So needed.
Something, and to have that just comfort, for her to be able to provide that comfort, priceless. That made the experience just unmatched. In addition, Dr. White, Dr. Dan Coleman, he was my first boss. So when I graduated in 2008, a few months before I graduated, I saw him at the gym. I was working out. He just mentioned in a 5-second conversation, hey man, I got a position in admissions coming open. You need to check it out. I was able to apply for that and, get that first job as an admissions counselor. But the way I handle my professional career now is because of Dan Coleman. I treat students the way I treat students because I model his behavior. Like he literally was the example for what a higher education professional could be. And I never knew that it even existed. So to be around him, to see how he engaged with students, Dan Coleman, he knows this. If he watches this, he already knows. But Dan Coleman and Dr. Maria White, mentorship definitely played a big part. And so what I would say to students as it relates to mentorship, one of the biggest ways to be successful in college, we talked about resources just a second ago. Getting involved can lead you to those resources. Going to
Right.
those events can lead you to those resources. But if you don't show up, no one knows you. And a
So
lot of
true.
times you
Yeah.
hear this saying, it's not about what you know, but who you know. But I
Mhm.
think we can change that saying to who knows you.
Right.
And so, like I
So
mentioned,
true.
because Dan knew me,
Uh-huh.
now
Uh-huh.
out of the gym, he knew me enough to have a 5-second conversation.
So
Had he
true.
not known me, we would not have had
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
conversation. It could have just
Yep.
been a hey, what's up? But because
Right.
he knew me enough for 5 seconds, hey, I got a position.
Mhm.
Now
Mhm.
that admissions role, ever since then, new positions have opened over this 16-year period, and it all started at the gym for 5 seconds.
Man, so true,
Yeah.
so true. Yes, and Dr. Walker, that's why I wanted to ask that question. And actually, it's a chapter in the book about mentorship and and students getting engaged and involved on a college campus. Basically, what you just said, mentorship is everything. Just like you said, folks getting to know who you are, when opportunities come on campus. I know there was many times that there were scholarships, sometimes from a private donor, right? Minority Affairs Director pick up the phone and say, "Hey, Sean, come and fill out this application and you can get this $500 for books," right? But if I had never put myself out there, right, again, like you said, that wouldn't even be the case, okay? So yeah, definitely mentorship is so important. A lot of times we talk about, our next question, when we talk to students, especially our high school students that are now graduating in 23, 24, a lot of them are saying, why college? They don't really understand the value of college. Is working at an institution or in higher education for now 16 years, what would you say to that new student who's maybe on a line of like, hey, I just want to go and work at an Amazon. They're paying $17 an hour. I can get overtime. Or, hey, do I want to go to college and still be broke? What would you say to that student?
First of all, I would say your feelings or your thoughts and emotions are valid. You make a really good point. No one can argue with, the fact that you can go to Amazon and make 25 to $30 an hour with a high school education. But this is my response. When it comes to higher education, no matter whether you go directly to work, whether you go to the military, whether you go to a technical school, junior college to do an associate's or career certificate program, 4 year, go get your master's, go get your doctorate, whatever case, or you don't do anything at all, education is going to happen. You're going to learn something, whether it's formal schooling or the schooling of, hard knocks or whatever, hard knock life. You're going to learn. And so I always tell students who are on the fence about it, higher education is a vehicle to gaining a credential. It's not the only way, and it doesn't have to be the only way, but you're going to learn regardless. And so
Right.
it is a proven way to gain credentials, to get to that job,
Mhm.
to earn that wage, to take care of your family. I mean, you can take many avenues, but I personally have been able to benefit from my experience with higher education as a student.
Right.
Now I get to pour into students every single day. And so I think it's very valuable, very, very valuable. Some people choose to take different routes because
Right. Uh-huh.
of various reasons. The cost is definitely one. Whatever you do, whether you go to the military or directly to the workforce, there's going to be some type of payoff, whether that's physically, mentally, financially.
So true.
This is a lesson that my dad taught me when I was in high school. He's a blue collar guy. He farms still to this day in his 70s. He's a carpenter also by trade. And he had this lesson with me on the roof while we were putting shingles on.
Right.
And he said you can either choose to work with your hands like this and beat your body up and work like I have since I was 13 years old, or you can go to college and you can work in the AC all day.
Right.
And he said neither one is bad, but it's just what you choose to do with your life. And so you choose to take this pathway where, you get formal education at a higher education institute. That's great.
Right.
It's your choice. It's about fit. And a lot of people in the higher education spaces talk about fit. Coming to 4-year college is not for everybody.
So true.
Going to junior college for 2 years is not for everybody. Going directly to the workforce and working and hurting your back, working outside is not for everybody, but it is for some. And so regardless of, I mean, it's not my first choice, but the thing is, if you choose formal education at a higher ed institute, it is a pathway to you getting a credential to get a job. Because at the end of the day, it's all about getting that job to take care of your family. And so why college? It's one of the pathways, one of the vehicles to get into where you want to be in life.
Right. Yes. And I love how you said that. There's so many different paths, especially now in 23, 24, right? As you just mentioned, I think when we were back in school, I won't say our age, but you kind of had maybe two options, right? You had the 4 year, and we'll call it junior college, and it was kind of like if you couldn't get into the 4 year, right? But now you got basically free community college. If you're looking at the state of Tennessee, you got 4 year institutions, you have technical colleges, even 4 year, of course. And of course, many colleges now offer short-term credentials where you can go 6 months, you can go 9 months to get a certificate, right? Graduate, and then of course go to the workforce. And they make it easy to on ramp right back, to that degree, and you can stack those credentials up. And so I like how you're saying, really find a fit that works for you. I started the book out with the type of institution, Dr. Walker, because I know that is so important, finding the right fit. He'll keep you there. Now, if you go to something totally wrong because of parents or your friends go, you might not stick with it, right? So really finding that correct fit is so key. As I just mentioned, this has been a great interview. I'm looking at the clock. It went by so fast. And as always, as I just mentioned, we started the book out with selecting the right type of institution. So I wanted you to shout out now where you work now. And if students are looking right in this video, podcast will go mainly to seniors. Why should they look at a Mississippi State? Like what particular institution offer them?
Well, yeah, man. I'm gonna give a shameless plug to my academic college specifically. So I'm at Mississippi State University in Starkville, Mississippi. We're kind of on the northeast side of our state, if you're in a different state. But I work in the College of Forced Resources. And so if any students who are interested in STEM fields, our departments fall into that category.
Okay.
As students may be put off by the word or the term forest resources, thinking it's just like forestry and logging, things like that.
Yeah.
Within the department, that includes all natural resources fields. And so, yes, there is forestry, but there's also wildlife, fisheries, and aquaculture. We have a veterinarian track for students who want to go to vet school, pre-vet track.
Okay.
Any student interested in wildlife, studying fish and fish ecology and physiology of fish. And in Mississippi, fishing is definitely a big industry.
Yeah.
Also, forestry in Mississippi is actually a multi-billion-dollar industry in the state of Mississippi, and a lot of people don't know that because so much land, and we have so much forest land. And so in terms of careers, because the whole point of going to college is to get a job. Right?
Good job.
There's definitely some great careers in forestry in Mississippi. In addition to those two departments, we have another department called Sustainable Bioproducts, or forest products. And essentially it's what people can do with logs and trees, either after they've fallen down because of natural disasters, or when people do cut logs from traditional logging. You got sawdust, you got the leaves, you have all this other material that's left over, can be used for some type of products like toothpaste. Believe it or not, the products in your toothpaste, the gumminess of your toothpaste comes from parts of the tree. You think about your Amazon boxes, you think about your paper, you think about tissue. There's a lot of products that come from the forest. And so our students are doing research on how can I take sawdust and make some type of board out of it that be sustainable, that I can build something with. And we have students doing research on chemicals to put on Amazon boxes. So if your box is in the rain, it doesn't mess up the product because the box got messed up. There's also a student who's studying how good a piece of a wood is based on it that they designed, where you can go into Lowe's, lay your phone on the board. I mean, a sticker said, "Oh, it's been tested. It's a good piece of wood," but it could not be. It could be a bad piece.
Right.
You put your phone on there and tap it, and the vibration of the wood, it'll give a reading on your phone. And so it's a very engineering heavy department as it relates to that sustainable bioproducts. And so any student that's thinking about STEM or STEM related fields, natural resources, want to get back to the environment, this is definitely the place for them. And for me personally, being the director of diversity programs, we are working to increase enrollment and retention and career advancement for our underrepresented minorities and women.
Wow.
I mean, so that is a priority for me. So I try to get from the rooftop. There's lots of opportunities. And in addition to those opportunities in terms of, a major, we have industries who are coming to us saying, hey, we need a more diverse workforce in our facilities and in our industry. So we've met with RMS in Birmingham.
Yeah.
Talk
Yeah.
Weyerhaeuser. We have some other corporations that we're engaging with that are like, hey, we want your students. We're going to support y'all in your efforts. So
Man.
job
That's
money is out
great.
there.
Yes, yes, and again, I want to sign up. I'm tired of school. Hear what you're saying. I want to sign up. But yes, that's great. And of course, Dr. Walker, your contact information will be listed on the screen below. So students, of course, they can find you on LinkedIn, and of course, more information about your institutions and the programs you just discussed. So again, I want to thank you for being on the podcast today. You really dropped some major gems. I know students are probably taking notes, and parents. And so again, I want to encourage you, students and parents, to make sure you share this video with other students, parents, folks at your school who maybe didn't get to see the video. And of course, make sure you order How to Play the Game of College. Go to my website at www.drshawnboyd.com and make sure you get your copy today. I will see you the same time, same place next week as we bring in another exciting guest. Again, thank you for tuning in.